Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we get into this, make sure you follow me on my Telegram channel. I'll have a link to that in the live chat and also the description below. So we post a lot of different trading setups there throughout the week, and don't be missing out on that. So make sure you go check that out. But like I said, got another live stream and talk you through what's happening in the charts today and see what's coming our way. So first up, we've got AUD/USD. So as you can see with this one looking very bullish on the 4-hourly time frame. We've broken through that resistance area here. I was saying if we do hold, we could see a nice push to the downside, but we're actually looking very bullish now, and I probably think that AUD/USD is probably coming back all the way to the highs, all the way up there. In the next coming days, I think we could be seeing a big push to the upside for this pair. Might see a bit of retrace, of course, because again, we did see a big push to the upside there. So could be seeing a bit of retrace to the downside, but I do think probably the bigger movement is probably back to the highs for AU, since it looks like we kind of got a bit of a false breakout out of these lows here. So a really strong support all across there. False breakout here, tapping into that support, and looking like that's given the momentum needed to push to the highs again. So I think AUD/USD is probably on its way back to highs there, maybe even create a higher high potentially, because again, the higher time frames are looking very bullish, like the weekly and the monthly are all still very bullish and going to the upside. So could be seeing AUD/USD continue to the upside there, and maybe actually go and create some new highs. But again, first might see some retrace first, because again, we do have multiple levels of resistance that price will struggle at. So again, resistance there, got resistance slightly higher up. So there's levels of resistance that could send the market back down first. So could be seeing some retrace and then expecting price to continue to the upside. Yeah, I'll take a look at gold for you. Okay, so gold, this week we had a bit of a consolidation, push to the downside. So overall gold still looking a little bit bearish here. On the daily time frame, it looks like we could be seeing a push to the downside. I was talking on my weekly analysis that if you were to see gold close back below here on the daily, probably could be expecting gold to come all the way down to the lows here to this support. So we could be seeing a further continuation to the downside and see price continue a lot further, just because again, if I jump to the daily chart, you can see a very strong support all across here. Tested this support numerous times. As you can see, we've been getting big moves to the upside from that same level. So this here was a bit of a false breakout, really strong move to the downside, close below. But as you can see, the next few candles take us back above. So if you get another close below that, we're probably going to come all the way back to the lows here and see price take out that recent low from a daily perspective. So if you do get a daily close below that, I'm probably favoring price to continue to the upside. If you pull back, however, and actually close bullish, I think price could be on its way back up for gold. So key level currently price is trading out from a daily point of view, which will probably determine my bias for the long term, over coming all the way back down to lows, or seeing gold come all the way back up to highs again. On the 4H, looking bearish, however, as you can see, bit of correctiveness here, push to the upside now, starting to roll over again. So if I jump on the hourly there as well, so you can see bit of correctiveness there, but still looking bearish. We do have a strong support here in the market. As you can see here, previous resistance there sent the market to the upside. It is acting as support. So gold is currently trading between that support and that resistance, kind of stuck a little bit. So if you do break through that support here, probably favoring price to come all the way down to the lows, all the way down here where we saw the move a couple of weeks ago now, to the downside for gold. So if you break through that support, favoring move all the way down to the lows there, break back above that resistance and get a daily close above there, probably favoring gold to come back to highs and see it move back into this area where we had this consolidation before we broke down. So gold is kind of trading between very two strong levels of support and resistance, and for me it's going to determine the direction for the rest of the week for gold, to see which level it breaks. So as you can see, price moving very choppy here, quite hard to work out the overall direction here. We are looking quite bearish, but again, hard to work out the overall direction between these two levels. But a break of it and price holding below could send us all the way back down to lows. Break back above that level and hold as well could send us back to highs. So trading between two key levels just to see which one price wants to break through, and then potentially look to trade in that way, because again, we're trading between a very key support there on the 4H as well. You can see a really big push to the upside, so hence price getting a bit of by struggling to break through that area. So break through that support area will probably take us all the way down to those lows, break back above, take us to the highs there. At that point, I probably expect price to take out this consolidation here and come and test the resistance that we have all the way up there for gold. So currently trading in between two levels that for me determine which way we're going to go. Break below to the lows, break back above, back to the highs. So that's my analysis for gold at the moment here on the 4H. Currently just in between two key levels, so I just need to see which one breaks, and then price is probably going to go to the targets that I've just mentioned there. So I hope that analysis helped for gold. Next, we're going to take a look at Euro USD. So Euro USD currently still in the same resistance that we saw last week. As you can see here, previous resistance gave us the move to the downside. I was saying that potentially if you do hold that level, see price come and test this support area down here. But as you can see, we just missed that. Price got to about here and then reversed, and that was looking quite bullish again. And as you can see, we saw a big push back into this resistance. So we're still at the resistance, we haven't broken it yet. But if you do break through that resistance, price is probably going to come back to this key level here in the market. As you can see, when we tested this support, we saw a really nice push to the upside coming to this resistance. This looks like it's a big false breakout. So again, if I draw this support across here, so again, it looks like it was a false breakout of this support here. False breakout, close back in, could be seeing price coming back to that level there in the market. So that's what I'm favouring for USD, probably another push to the upside. Might see some retrace first, of course, because again, we're still at that same resistance that price is struggling to break through. But if you do break above it, price is probably going to come back to this level here, which is around 1.21886, and a break of that level could actually take us all the way back to highs again, because at that point it looks like we're getting a bit of a reversal here for Euro USD, and could be seeing price just continue in the overall bullish direction in the higher time frame to the upside, and actually see price come back and take up the highs there all the way up there for Euro USD. So biases to the upside, but because we're still at that resistance, we could see price fall to the downside first. Again, not really a great place to look to buy the market there. Could be seeing a bit of retrace first, maybe even come back and test that support there, and then maybe see price continue to the upside again for Euro USD. But since we are at some resistance, might see a bit of retrace first, and then maybe after see Euro USD continue on this journey to the upside for that pair. Next, let's take a look at USD CAD. So USD CAD looking very bearish, as you can see here. We're taking out that support level. Price retested this resistance all the way up here. As you can see, key level support and resistance all across here. Big push to the upside, testing that resistance. Fell to the downside, now looking very bearish. So I expect USD CAD to come all the way down to test the lows here for this pair. So again, on the daily chart, these are the lows of the market, of the downtrend, the weekly lows. I do think price is going to come and test that level there for USD CAD this week. We are at currently some support, so you can see here previous support gave us a really strong push to the upside, so could see a bit of reaction there for USD CAD to start the week off potentially, but I do think we're probably eventually going to break through that support, come and test this area, and actually there's a really strong possibility that we could create some new lows, just because again the overall trend on the higher time frames are still very bearish here. So could create some new lows soon potentially for USD CAD. Might see a bit of a push to the upside again because of the support we're currently testing, and it looks to be quite strong as well. Nice, really strong move to the upside, so might see a bit of a reaction there. But nonetheless, I think USD CAD is on its way back down, back to this support down here, and potentially could look to actually go and break through it and see some new lows there for USD CAD. USD CHF, we saw a nice push to the upside, but as you can see, price is retracing a little bit. Again, really strong support here in the market. So if I jump to the daily, previous resistance all across here, so really strong resistance, now turning support. You can really see we had a bit of a reaction there on the daily with that morning star pattern. However, in the 4H, you can see we've come back here, so it could be a scenario where we had a very strong push to the upside, price is retracing, forming another higher low into that support, and then price could take off again to the upside. So that is still a possibility here. However, if we go and break through that support now, price is probably on its way back down to come and test this key area of support here in the market. So as you can see, this is the support that eventually gave us the big push to the upside, breaking through that resistance. So it could probably come back down and come and test that area there for USD CHF, because again, this is a very strong support area, and you would think that price should probably make a move to the upside and come higher. Although we have had a slight move to the upside here in the 4H, The fact that we've come down so quickly is showing that price might actually look to go and break through that support, as you see it, and move into this level here. So a break of that support will probably take us to this level here. If you do eventually hold and you see some strong candles coming back to the upside there for USD/CHF, that's probably just a higher low. And then from them, you could be seeing a bigger push to the upside, bigger swing, and maybe price coming all the way back to the highs here. But if you do get price closing back below, I'm probably favouring price to come to this level here around 0.88545, and at that point could actually come back to lows again for this pair, because again, long term we are still very bearish on the USD/CHF. So again, coming to that strong support just depends if we hold. If you do hold, could be seeing a nice swing to the upside. Break below, probably see price come and test this level here. Hey, you're right. You in any trades? Because some of the markets to start off the week have just taken off quite mad. JPY is one of them. So you can see here, very big push to the upside. So anyone selling this over the weekend will probably be in the deep red at this point, because again, very big push to the upside for GBJY, looking very bullish here. And as you can see here on the daily as well, weekly as well, looking very bullish here for GBJY. For this pair. So I probably think for actually GBJY, probably going to come back and test this level here in the market. Key level resistance here, test there on the weekly. So I probably think price long term is on its way to come test that level, and it's currently making a very big push to the upside since the market opened. As you can see, we just opened and just took off to the upside there. So price is looking very bullish here for GBJY. Obviously, you probably expect to see some retrace later today or later this week anyway, because again, very big push, no real support there, taking us to the upside. So could be seeing a reversal soon back to the downside, but price is looking very bullish here for GBJY and could still be on its way back up. But again, I do probably expect price to eventually to retrace a little bit. Similar to GPUSD as well. Again, GPJPY and GPUSD move similar. Again, we didn't quite come back down to retest that previous resistance turn support. You held this area just above it, and price just took off to the upside there. So GPUSD looking very bullish currently. As you can see, really nice push to the upside. Again, long term, my bias is still to the upside for GPUSD to around 1.42, and I think price is still on its way to that level, but again, could be seeing some retrace first, because again, we did see a really nice impulsive move, but nonetheless, price is still looking bullish, even on the hourly time frame there as well. So no real opportunity for me to trade there, because again, price is looking so bullish and it's hard to trade because there's no real level to trade with there from GPUSD as of yet. So price is looking very bullish, so it could retrace, but again, probably not looking to get into that trade just at the moment now for GPUSD and GPJPY, because again, they look very strong. For AUDUSD, I'm probably saying we're probably expecting to see some retrace for AU, because again, we did see a big push to the upside. I think we might see a bit of retracement for AUDUSD, maybe back to this support here. And then potentially as you see price continue to the upside, because I think AU does have the potential to come back to these highs over there, the weekly highs all up there, because again, we're still in a very bullish trend in the higher time frames, and it actually looks like from a daily point of view, we had a bit of a false breakout of this support area here in the market. So again, really nice support, false break, close back above. Looks like price could be on its way back to the highs again, but of course, because we have that big push to the upside, you do expect to see some retrace there for AUDUSD, and see maybe price come back to this area, or potentially actually break through that area and tap into that area there, and then see the continuation back to the highs again. But for me, again, no real opportunity there yet on the 4H, but again, could be seeing some retrace to the downside for that pair soon. AD and ZD. Okay, so for this one, we actually stormed past that level. I was saying potentially could be seeing price actually retrace a little bit at this level here. Since again, you can see prior here, really nice resistance. So a really big move to the downside, creating some new lows there, and actually was previously support there as well. So expecting to see a bit of reaction at that level, but as you can see, price just stormed through, and price is looking very bullish since then. But again, we're definitely very overextended here for AD and ZD, similar to the move here, very overextended, and you can see the retrace that we're having from that level. So could be seeing a movement to the downside for AUD/NZD to retrace this bullish movement here. But again, it's a very, very choppy pair and doesn't move that well in my opinion. So again, it's quite hard to trade because it likes to just continue in one direction with, again, hardly any breathing space, because again, you can see here the price action we're getting very, very choppy, and then it eventually turns to the downside, and then again, same thing there. So when you do catch the right entry on AUD/NZD, you could really ride it to the downside or to the upside. But for me, it's quite a difficult pair to trade AUD/NZD. But yeah, could be seeing a movement to the downside for this pair, since again, very big push to the upside. Could be seeing a bit of a reaction to the downside for this pair yet. We do have resistance all across here. So again, you can see previous resistance there, really big push to the downside. Now we're tapping into that same resistance there on the daily. So potentially a bit of a head and shoulders there. So there's the right shoulder, head, left shoulder there, the other way around. So could be seeing a push to the downside and seeing a bigger movement all the way back to the lows here, maybe even further. But yeah, we are testing a really key level, because again, you can see previously really strong move to the downside from that same level, and we're tapping into that same level there again. So could be seeing a nice little bearish reaction there to the downside for AUD/NZD. But again, for me, it's just a really hard pair to trade, because again, it takes forever for it to turn direction there from a swing trading point of view. So I tend to stay away from it, but could be seeing a nice push to the downside, because again, it's at a really key level there in the market. Next, we're going to take a look at NZD/USD. So NZD/USD, again, very choppy so far. Still currently trading at that key level here in the 4H. So got resistance there, support there, resistance all across there as well. Resistance. So we're currently trading at a very key level in the market. And I think if you go and break through that level, price is probably going to come all the way back to the highs, all the way up there for NZD/USD, because again, higher time frames are still very bullish here. Although we do have consolidation here, I think price is on its way to break to the upside. You can see we do have this trend line here in the market. So again, initial test there, second, third test of the trend line. Could see a bit of retrace to make a fourth test before breaking. But I think it looks like price wants to break to the upside for NZD/USD. It's just squeezing in between that resistance and that trend line. So it kind of depends which one wants to break first. Normally you would expect the resistance to break and see price give you a swing to the upside. But in case we do see the trend line break, we're probably coming back down to this key level of support down here. As you can see, previous support there again will be acting as support a third time, and again we'll probably just have a continuation of this consolidation there. But normally you do expect price to probably break to the upside with this, when we have the resistance and the trend line squeezing price together, and actually could be seeing a push all the way back to the highs there, or maybe even a higher high for NZD/USD at this point. But right now we're trading that resistance. Haven't really had very strong reaction just yet. You can see if I jump to the hourly chart, a bit of engulfing candle there, but again, not really a strong reaction there in the 4H either. So might see a bit of a swing to the downside first, but I think we're probably on our way to go break through that resistance and see price come all the way back to the highs again for NZD/USD. Next, we're going to take a look at NZD/CAD. So NZD/CAD, for this one, I did say I'll probably expect price to roll over to the downside, but again, moving very choppy now. Again, we're still holding this key support there in the market. So again, if I take that across, you can see really nice resistance all across here, turn support there as well, and support here as well. So price is respecting that area quite well. I said if we break below that, probably expect price to drop to this level here, but so far we are hanging on to that support. So it's difficult to kind of trade this pair, because again, very choppy. You can see in the 4 hourly chart a lot of wicks to the other side there. But again, if you do hold this level and take up this resistance, I probably favor price to come back to this level up here for NZD/CAD back to highs again, just because again we're having this strong move to the downside after this consolidation. We expect another strong move to the downside as well, but the fact that we break to the upside probably means that we're coming back to the resistance, and we're actually seeing a bit of a reversal there. So a break of that resistance will probably indicate to us we're coming back to the highs all the way up there. Break below that support will probably indicate we're coming back to this key level support here, but we had the push to the upside that got us into this consolidation here. So NZD/CAD got two options there, but right now kind of just moving between a key level resistance and a key level support. So again, hence the reason why we're getting that choppy movement here for NZD/CAD. But break above that area, probably take us to the resistance up there, break below that support, probably take us to the support down here. But so far, as the CAD is just moving sideways. Euro JPY creates some new highs there. As you can see, that was our previous swing high here on the daily. So we jump to the daily, previous swing high there on the daily, and price is just taking out that level. We were saying last week we probably do expect price to come and take out this resistance. You can see we have a big push to the upside, taking out that resistance. So yeah, could be seeing a bit of retrace now for this pair, because again, very strong close above, and of course we still got most of the day to trade, most of the day left for trading. So we could actually see by the end of the day that this whole bullish candle here on the daily is just a wick. To the upside, and price actually closed bearish, so that could still happen for this pair, because again, we are still in a very strong bullish trend here, but a strong break like that often does mean we're having a false breakout there, and could actually see price come crashing back down for Euro JPY, so we need to watch out for that. But nonetheless, on the 4H, currently still looking very bullish there. Not enough bearish signals for me to look to enter any short trades. Similar on the hourly, so again, just need to wait for the confirmations there. But a big move like that does normally indicate a false breakout, and could be seeing price coming back down to the downside there for this pair. But nonetheless, still looking bullish, and got to wait for those confirmations, because if price does want to, it can continue to the upside for how long it wants to, because again, it's still very bullish right now, and there's nothing really stopping it. And looking for it to reverse. So again, wait for this confirmation, but could be actually be seeing a bigger move to the downside for this pair, because again, if that is a false breakout there, could actually see price come back and test this support all the way down there, because again, very strong movement for that resistance. So potentially, if that is a false breakout, could actually see price come all the way back down to that support from a daily point of view. So need to watch out for that, but so far price is still looking quite bullish there for Euro JPY. Euro GBP, this one's still looking very bearish, as you can see. It's taking its time here, very choppy pair. So again, hard for me to trade as well, similar to ADNZD. So as you can see here, we had a bit of consolidation here after that big move to the downside with the news. Bit of consolidation, as you can see, we're all breaking to the downside again there as well. So again, price is still looking very bearish here. I did say I probably expect price to come to 0.87, which is this key level of support that I've highlighted. Probably expect price to come and tap into that area before seeing a bigger push to the upside. So you can see previously, last time we were here, we saw a really strong push to the upside, and price eventually got to the highs up here before turning back down. So we could tap back into that level there again, or maybe see a false break of it, and then see a really big push to the upside for this pair, because again, it is a very strong key support area on the daily and the weekly time frame. So could see a reaction like that. So if that is the case, again, we still do have a little bit of room to the downside before price looks to reverse that, because again, you can see we are still looking very bearish here, and price is currently taking out that support. So again, we are looking very bearish, and I probably do expect price to carry on a little bit further before seeing the bigger push back to the upside for Euro GBP and taking out all of this choppy price action there, seeing a big push to the upside for the pair. But as of yet, price is still bearish. I probably expect price to probably come down, test 0.87, and then start to see a really bullish reaction for that pair. CAD JPY is similar to Euro JPY, so as you can see, we started off the week with a lot of JPY weakness here, and currently we are tapping to 83 for CAD JPY. So do expect to see a bit of a reaction to the downside here for CAD JPY. Nonetheless, we are still in a very bullish trend for this pair. As you can see, we have taken out that resistance just above us here, which I was saying in week analysis, probably expect price to take that resistance and see price tap into this level here. But as you can see, we've already done that to start the week. I didn't expect prices to do that as soon as the market opened. But we are still looking very bullish here. Probably expecting to see some push to the downside now after that big push to the upside, and look to retrace that a little bit. And then we are coming to this key level here, this 83 zone. So it could be seeing some resistance there as well. Instead price back down, but nonetheless still looking very bullish here, creating some higher highs in this bullish trend. Now you do expect the market to take a breather and see a bit of retracement to the downside for this pair. And again, you can see in the daily, very big bullish candle to the upside, but again, by the end of the day, we could pull back down and actually close bearish. So can't look to take into account that candle just yet. because again we could pull all the way back down. So probably expecting to see some retrace for CAD JPY after that big push. But again, if price wants to create another higher high, there's nothing stopping it, because again we are still looking very bullish here on the 4-hourly time frame. So currently I'm in a short trade here for AD CAD, looking to capitalize off this resistance here in the market. It looks like we had a really nice bullish candle closing above, but then we had a nice bearish candle closing back below. So take into account that could be a bit of a false move there, and seeing a nice push to the downside for this pair, looking for a move into this support. As you can see, when we tested the resistance, we saw a move into the support, looking to see if you can get a similar move back to the downside again for that pair, tap into the support. We do have potential to break through it, but if we don't, we could see a swing back to the upside. In that case, I'll look to get out the trade there. But AD CAD looking for a nice swing to the downside. If you go and do take out this level, this resistance that I'm currently trading from, we're probably coming back to the highs, which is all the way up here. Sorry. So if we do take out that resistance, we're probably coming back to highs. So in that case, I don't want to be in the trade anymore. So I'll look to exit. I'll look to exit that trade if you do take out that resistance. But so far, if you do hold, could be on for a move into this support area here. So that's what I'm looking for AD CAD, a really nice swing to the downside. Test that support. Probably look to close the trade there. But if we do carry on, could be a really nice swing trade all the way back to the lows. Break through the resistance. We'll look to exit the trade, because at that point we're probably coming back to highs for AD CAD, because again we still do have a bullish trend here on the higher time frame. So we'll look to exit the trade if that happens, but nonetheless looking for a nice swing to the downside back into the support, and just going to see how this gets on. If anyone wants me to look at any different charts, any different markets, any different pairs, just put it in the live chat and I'll give you some analysis or my opinions on that pair. And again, if you own any trades as well, let me know. Interested to find out, see what pairs you guys are trading. But yeah, currently just in AD CAD short, going to see how this gets on and take a look at some other pairs as well. Okay, so I'm going to take a quick look at GPAUD. Okay, so GPAUD for this pair, we've definitely found some support in this area here in the market in the 4-hourly time frame. So you can see here prices finding resistance here at around 1.8. We fell to the downside here, very strong move back up again. That was the news that took us higher, the news for GBP. Now we're back at this sort of area here again, and you can see we're having a tough time really pushing lower. So it does look like this support here for GPAUD looks like it is holding on the 4H. You can see we didn't quite test it there, came up crashing back down, found support there, and we had a nice big push to the upside. So I feel like the GPAUD could be in for a move back to the upside potentially. If you take out this resistance here, price is probably going to come all the way back to 1.8, back to these highs up here. As you can see, having a tough time really pushing to the upside here on the 4H. There is a chance we could roll back over to retest this support again and then see the push back up. But I think as long as we stay above this support here in the 4H, the bigger move is still to the upside to come back to 1.8 resistance. I think we're probably still going to come and test the area soon as long as we stay above this support. You can see we're moving quite choppy. If I jump to that hourly, so again we're moving a little bit choppy here. There's definitely some resistance here in the market, as you can see, resistance, resistance, resistance. So a little bit of resistance there on the hourly. If we break through that area, probably come and test that resistance up there. Break through that area, we'll probably come test 1.8 all the way up there. But as you can see, a little bit of resistance there on the H1 there, and a bit of support just below us. So do you have a bit of a range there for the hourly time frame. Strongly to the upside, could just be moving sideways, and then could see the continuation back to the upside, testing that resistance up there. However, if you do see a swing back down and break through the support, it probably means that we're coming back to test that H4 support that I was telling you earlier, this support here. So again, if you break that level, it means we're coming back there. Break through that resistance, it means we're coming to that resistance there, and at that point I think we're probably going to break through that and come and test the highs up here. So my bias for GPAUD is to the upside. I think we could be coming back to the resistance up there. Of course, we do have a little bit of minor resistance on the H1, which could send us back to the downside first, but I think the bigger move is still to the upside. So even if we do drop to the downside, I think it's just a bit of retracement, and then we could see the bigger move back to the upside for GPAUD. So might see another swing to the downside and just price continues to range, break through the range to the upside, we'll come into that resistance, and probably at that point I think we'll come back to the highs, break through the resistance, break through the consolidation to the downside. We're probably going to retest this support, and if we hold, we'll probably see the movement to the upside from that area. If you break through the support here, again, we'll probably see a bigger move to the downside, where I'll probably have to change my bias at that point. But right now, I think GPAUD is still on its way up. Got a bit of consolidation down the H1, it needs to break through, but I still think GPAUD is going to probably see a move to the upside, back into that resistance, and then maybe all the way back to the highs at 1.8. So bias to the upside for GPAUD, but watch out because we're having some resistance, so we might see a move to the downside first before we really take off back to the highs for GPAUD. So again, I hope that analysis helped. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at USD CHF. Okay, so for this pair, right now we're coming to we're currently trading at a really key daily previous level of resistance turned support. So again, if I highlight this area here, you can see all this area of previous resistance here on the daily. Really key resistance, kind of kept us moving sideways a little bit, and you can see we eventually broke to the upside. So now we are testing that as support, and as you can see on the daily, we already had a bit of a bullish reaction there with that morning star pattern, the bearish candle, the doji, and then the bullish candle. So again, we are starting to look bullish at this level. You can see we did start the week off USDCHF coming all the way back down. You can see on the hourly we're kind of back down to that same level there again here on the daily. So my bias was to the upside for USDCHF, expecting to see a nice bounce to the upside, because again, really nice level there on the daily turn support. Really big push to the upside, thinking that price could potentially continue to the upside, but as you can see, we got rejected, came back down. But again, we are still at this support, so potentially could actually see another push to the upside, and this could just be a retest of that swing to the upside. So if I jump to the hourly, again, we did create some higher highs in the market, so this could just be another retest, and then we could see the continuation back to the upside. So again, I could see a nice swing to the upside for USDCHF if you do hold to this level. Break through this level, however, we'll probably coming back down to test this support here in the market, because as you can see, this is the support that eventually gave us the big swing to the upside, creating those highs and breaking through that resistance there. So really key level of support. So if you break through this area, that is probably where price wants to go and test for USDCHF. But then again, if you do hold this area, it probably is a sign that this bearish movement here was just retracement, and then we could actually see the continuation back to the upside, because again, price probably wants to go and retrace further to the upside to retrace this bearish movement here. But then again, if price does break through this support, probably indicates that price wants to come and test this key level there on the H4, maybe even move lower at that point, because again, the overall trend from the higher time frames like the weekly and the monthly are still bearish. So long term, we could still be on our way back down for USDCHF. So still have to take that into account a little bit. But right now, again, price is still at that support. You can see this is where we previously were consolidating at, and now we're retesting there. And as well, you can see the 4-hourly chart, we're losing momentum as we're coming into that level, which is again another sign that we might see a push to the upside. So if you do hold onto this level, I think that swing to the upside that you're looking for is probably still on to the upside, and we could probably actually look to come and test this level here. This was kind of like the previous support that gave us that really strong move to the downside. So yeah, could be seeing a really nice push back up to the upside, testing that level at least, and probably actually coming back to the highs. If you hold on to that support, break through it though, I'll probably expect to see a move into that support there, and at that point we'll probably look very bearish at that point. So I'm not sure if you will see price reverse back to the upside at that point, but we're still hanging on to the support, and if you do, could be seeing a nice swing back to the upside. So again, I hope that analysis helped. Okay, so it's just gone 12 p.m, so we're going to look to end the live stream shortly. But I'm going to do a quick rundown on some of the pairs that I looked at earlier, see how they've got on, and also my current position as well. So AUD/USD, again, we did see a little bit moving to the upside. I was saying for this pair, probably expect to see a little bit of retracement first, but I do think the bigger move for this pair is still to the upside, back to the highs here on the daily chart. As you can see, this is the highs here on the daily. Previous highs gave us a really nice push to the downside. I think price is on its way back to go and retest those highs again, and maybe actually create a higher high potentially. But could be seeing a bit of retracement first, and then see the movement back to the upside, because again we are extended a little bit, so could see a push to the downside, retrace some of this bullish movement, and then see the price continue, maybe come all the way back down to this level here. As you can see, a really strong support, might come and test this support and then see the continuation back up again. But I think AUD is still on its way back to highs. EUR/USD still holding onto this resistance here in the market. As you can see, resistance all across here. We did see a really nice drop to the downside earlier on towards the end of last week, came right back into it, and now you can see it's acting as resistance there again. So might see price fall off to the downside again for EUR/USD, and maybe come and test this area in the market here. As you can see, really key support here, key support there, broke below, so this is all looking like a false breakout. So you probably can be expecting to see a test of this area here again in the market as support, and then maybe see a swing to come and test this level here, which is around 1.21886, so this key level up there. So for EUR/USD, probably expecting to see a movement to the downside, test the support, then maybe a movement back up again, because again price is still failing to break through that strong resistance there in the market. USD CAD still kind of just trading at that support there. As you can see, towards the end of last week we got rejected from a really key level of support resistance, so price resistance there, support there as well, resistance, so really key level. Price is respecting this level really well, and as you can see, we tested it again just before the week ended and came crashing back down. So USD CAD, I think if we do hold on to that support, which gave us this move to the upside, I think we could be seeing some other movement to the upside and retrace some of that bearishness that we saw towards the end of last week. But if you do break through the support, I think price is probably on its way back down to the previous lows here for USD CAD. And again, the high time frames like the weekly and the monthly are still overall in the bearish trend here. So we could just be seeing continuations of that bearishness to the downside there. So that could also play a factor in the direction here for USD CAD. But for now, we are currently at support. I think if you do break through it, we're probably going to come test the lows and potentially even create a lower low for USD CAD. But if we do hold, could be seeing another push to the upside and look to retrace some of that bearish momentum that we saw towards the end of last week. USD JPY, this one's still looking bullish here. We've actually had a break through this resistance here. I was saying if you break through that level, could be expecting price to actually come back to the previous resistance here. As you can see, this is the resistance that sent us to the downside. We gained momentum here, broke through that resistance. So I think for USD JPY, we might actually see price come back to the highs again potentially, and actually see price maybe create a higher high or go even further, because again we are looking very bullish here. So could see a little bit of retracement maybe on the hourly, come and retest this previous resistance now as support, then maybe see price continue to the upside back to that level of resistance all the way up there. USD CHF, again we're currently trading at this support here in the market. So as you can see, support there, price was consolidating last week, broke to the upside, looks like it's retesting again as support, and if we do hold, could easily see another swing to the upside again for USD CHF, maybe back into this level all the way up here, or even further actually, because again at that point we might be seeing a reversal. But if we break through this support, it probably indicates that we're just seeing that bearishness continue that we've seen throughout previous few months, and probably could be seeing a push back to this level here, this support, or even further potentially for this pair. And GPUSD still looking very bullish here. As you can see, broke out this consolidation here, false breakout there, news took us back in, big push to the upside, retracement. I was saying potentially could see retracement into this level here, but we didn't quite get to that level. We retraced, missed it by a few pips there, and price shot to the upside. So GPUSD still looking bullish. Like I said, I'm still long-term biased for this pair. I think we're probably on our way to 1.42, potentially even higher than that. So yeah, GPUSD still looking very bullish, and again a bit cautious to short this market just yet for this pair, because again we are looking very bullish. So currently in AUD CAD short position here, looking for a swing to this support here, really key level of support there in the market. Had a really nice push to the upside, bit of consolidation, looking at that bullish movement there as a bit of a false move there, and looking to see if you can get a nice drop to the downside back into the support for 80 CAD. However, if you do break through that resistance there, it probably indicates that 80 CAD's probably coming back to highs. And at that point, I probably don't want to be in the trade anymore, because we'll probably come back to the highs up here and seeing price maybe even create a higher high potentially. So again, a break of that resistance, don't want to be in the trade anymore. We'll look to exit, but if you do hold this area, could easily see a nice swing to the downside back to that support. And if you break through that, could go a lot further potentially for this pair. So looking for a swing to the downside. Going to see how that continues there for the rest of the day. We'll be updating you guys again tomorrow to see how that's got on. But like I said, it is the end of the live stream. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it useful. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also leave a like on the video if you're feeling generous. But thanks again for watching, and until the next one, I'll see you guys later.